Hey all, Nesso here. Today I'll be taking a look at the Attica. The Attica is currently the only crossbow in the game, available at Master Rank 4 at the Tenno labs in the dojo. To craft the weapon, it requires 2 Morphics and 1 Forma for the rare resource requirements. Similar to bows and the Boltor, the Attica shoots out bolts that have innate punch through. The bolts also have travel time and drop at further distances. For an automatic weapon, the Attica is rather slow, having a base fire rate of 3.3 rounds per second. It has a magazine size of 16 and a slow reload time of 2.8 seconds. Despite having a slow fire rate, the Attica deals decent damage per shot, having a base damage of 125, dealing primarily in puncture. The weapon has a decent crit chance of 20% and a damage multiplier of 1.5 times. A rather low amount of crit damage, but with its high crit chance, it is still worth modding for crit. The Attica also has a status chance at 10%, allowing you to see status procs every now and then. Despite being classified as an automatic weapon, the Attica does have access to the bow mod Thunderbolt. Being an automatic weapon, the Attica is the best weapon to use this mod on. At max rank, the Thunderbolt mod has a 30% chance to cause an explosion. More arrows, more explosions. While I am not a fan of Thunderbolt due to the fact its damage does not scale, it is still really great for missions with enemies under level 25. The explosions deal 250 blast damage. Blast has horrible scaling due to it dealing less damage to Ferrite, which is the armor type of a lot of Grineer unit types. Granted, Puncture does deal more damage to this armor type, so it kind of balances it out. While the explosions do increase the Attica's damage, it is a lot less damage than what an elemental mod can provide for the weapon. The weapon's ammo type is also rifle ammo, despite it saying bow ammo when picking up this ammo. This makes the weapon extremely ammo efficient over bows and other rifles due to it dealing more damage per shot than most rifles, and not having to use special ammunition type, which tends to be a rarer ammo drop. Now on to modding. My first build is my main build with the Attica. I run crit mods on it because I feel despite the 50% crit chance and lower damage multiplier, it is still worth it. My second build is my Thunderbolt build. I rarely use this build, but it is good for lower level missions. So is the Attica worth it? While bows are highly praised as great weapons, the Attica is a very underrated weapon. While most people seem to think the only purpose of the Attica is to run Thunderbolt on it, the weapon actually does well with a crit build, despite its low crit multiplier. With some well-aimed shots, the weapon is capable of doing a ton of damage with headshots, and due to its bolt mechanics, it is able to mow down hallways of enemies. While it is not a weapon that you can take to an endless survival, the weapon is still viable until enemies hit around the level 70 mark. I enjoy this weapon, and while I do prefer using bows due to the satisfaction of lining up those enemies and using one arrow to murder them, the Attica can do similar, and against lower level enemies it is a lot more efficient. For veterans, yes, I do recommend the weapon. For newer players at Master Rank 4, you do have access to the Paris Prime, which is similar to the Attica in damage, granted it is a bow and not an automatic weapon. I mention this because the Attica does require that single Forma, which again is a scarce resource for new players. While farming for Forma, it may be beneficial to farm up the Paris Prime parts. Its void mission locations all have a chance at Forma minus the Paris upper limb. The weapon is relatively cheap to craft, and while people say the best bows are either the Dread or the Raktasurnos, the Paris Prime is still a really good weapon and even better for soloing due to dealing primarily in puncture. I do recommend newer players to give the Attica a shot if they are in a clan with access to it, but a weapon such as the Heck or the Tigris is also available at this master rank from the marketplace. While there are syndicate versions of these weapons, which may cause hesitation to upgrading it with Forma, the regular Heck is a different kind of weapon from its syndicate counterpart, which gives it a bit more bang for your Forma compared to the Tigris. These two weapons are hands down better than the Attica of course, but I always believe in enjoying whatever weapon you like. The Attica definitely feels different than those weapons, and I think it is worth the Forma to craft. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video or it helped you in any way, give her a thumbs up. On a side note, the channel has recently hit the 300 sub mark, and while the channel is rather small, all things considered, I'd like to thank everyone who's supported me so far. While I do not reply to every comment, I do read each one. Every thumbs up I receive from you folks also has helped me out in the morale department. So thank you again for the support, and I hope you have a good one.
Yo.